Jukasa Radio 93.5. I'm your host, Carla, back in studio, and I'm excited because right now I have Miss Teenage Ontario 2018 with me, Aleria Mckay. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming by. This is your first time doing radio, at least here at Jukasa Radio,
yes,
so welcome.
Yes, thank you.
So you won last Sunday. Mm-hmm. How did that go?
Well, the Miss Teenage Ontario pageant lasted 2 days in Toronto, so it was the 20th and the 21st, and the first day was just rehearsals and getting ready for the pageant, and then that night we had some pre-judging, and then the second day was more rehearsals, and then the actual pageant in the evening, and then that's when they did the crowning, which was when I got crowned Miss Teenage Ontario.
Ooh, that sounds intense, though, like an intense process. Mm-hmm. What do you do to get yourself ready for it?
Well, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. You have to practice, you have to fundraise, because it's a very, very expensive hobby.
Right.
And there's the entry fee, and then you have to get an evening gown and things like that. And there's also charity fundraising that's also a part of it. So it's months and months of preparation.
That's insane. But now you've got your tiara with you, which I've never seen one in person. So do you get to keep it or do you have to return it?
I get to keep it.
You get to keep it. That's exciting. How often do you wear it?
Well, I only wear it when I do appearances and stuff. I don't just usually wear it around the house.
I feel like if I had one, I would definitely just wear it around the house. I wouldn't care. You're on the cover of the Two-Road Times. You're from Six Nations. So how does it feel seeing your community support you?
It's very exciting, and I'm really, really lucky, like, coming from where I come from. Like, everyone's so supportive, and everyone, whenever I have, like, an event or a fundraiser, everyone's willing to chip in, and everyone's willing to help out, and I'm really lucky for that.
Yeah, I think one thing that I see just from being here on Six Nations is that the community does come together when needed. Everybody supports each other. So I always love seeing that, for sure. Now, what got you into doing pageants? Because you've been doing this for a long time now, a few years. There's a misconception that it's all just about beauty, but it's about much more. You've got to have confidence. You have to have a reason, a purpose to do it, and to influence other people your age as well. So,
Well, I got into pageants when I was around 11. I had always loved watching pageants growing up, like watching Miss Universe and Miss USA when it came on TV, and I was always so excited for that. And I knew that I wanted to do pageants, and I would always watch toddlers and tiaras, and I'd see that, and I just knew that I wanted to be on stage. And so I got involved in it when I was 11, and I did the local ambassador pageants here for a couple of years. I competed in Miss Preteen Six Nations, got first runner-up both years, and people always think that you get into pageants and you win a big title like this, and that's just the end of the story, but it's not like that. Like I always say, you win some, you lose some, and I had to lose a lot before I actually won. I know I came first run-up for Miss Preteen Six Nations 2 years in a row, and I came back each year willing to try again, and then the third year I came back and I did Miss Teen Six Nations, and I won that year. And so I continued doing pageants for a while, not just on Six Nations, but in other places as well. I competed in Toronto, St. Catharines, Barrie with another pageant system, and I didn't always win. And I always had to come back and try again and practice, and it takes a lot of dedication.
Where did you find that motivation? Because a lot of the times when someone's told no, you can either lose yourself in it and just stop trying, or you could really motivate yourself again and go for it all the way 100%. So where did you find yourself in that?
Well, I think it really came from within. It's something I'm passionate about, and I know it sounds superficial, but I like being on stage. I like doing things like that, and if it's something I like and I want to try, then I'm not going to stop just because I lose a couple times, because if you keep going at it, you're going to do well eventually.
Yeah, and now you've earned a platform for yourself. You're actually raising awareness.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, your main goal is to raise awareness about youth suicide. So why is that important to you?
So for the pageant, we are all required to have a platform, so that can be any kind of cause that we want to raise awareness for. Some people choose charities, some people choose different causes they want to raise awareness for, and my platform is raising awareness for youth suicide on reserves, because it's something that I've not only dealt with personally just around the community, but I know that it's like a national issue. And I know that there are people out there who've, like, their reserves are much worse than ours, and I know that we experience a lot of suicide, and when we experience that, it impacts the entire community.
They say it's the highest rate in Canada is in suicides is from Indigenous youth. So.
Yeah, and I know that, I always forget the exact statistic, but I know that Inuit youth, they're much, much higher than the national average, and it's tragic, and people aren't aware of that. And even when they are aware of that, there's still a certain ignorance that exists within that, and that's something that I think we really need to get past. And by winning this, I'm hoping to really raise awareness for that. That's my number one goal for
That's
this.
awesome to hear. Yesterday was Bella Let's Talk Day. So did you participate in that at all?
Yes, I made sure that I was tweeting and I was hashtagging it and using the Snapchat filters.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a great way to raise awareness about the topic and just to have that conversation about it. But how do you think we move from just a whole day of Bella Let's Talk, move it into every day of Bella Let's Talk?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I always say about it, like, because everybody's willing to post something on Facebook or tweet something for one day of the year, but you need to spread that out. You need to continue on with that. You need to keep fighting the stigma and fighting all of the things that are going on and supporting people who do have mental health issues. And that's a really big part of it.
Did you have support growing up, just as a motivation into getting into doing pageants?
Well, my family has always been very supportive of everything I do, and I danced when I was younger. I was a competitive dancer at Michelle Farmer's.
Oh, nice.
And I loved being on stage. And my very first recital, I instead of doing the dance, I just stood on stage and just waved to the crowd. And my mom was like, "Well, I think she's going to be on stage for the rest of her life."
Sure.
So I definitely wanted to continue that. And I also grew up doing public speaking. And that was something I really liked. And I think that pageants were just a way of combining all of that into one thing that I really enjoyed.
You definitely found like where you fit and what you want to do, because you can definitely move into further things with this platform. For people that might not have support from their parents or family members or friends for what they truly believe that they should be doing, what advice can you give them?
I know it sounds cheesy, but just really believing in yourself. And if you're really passionate about something, you should feel the need to do whatever you can to really stay motivated and being involved with it, because you're not always going to have that support. And it's important to stay true to yourself and stay with the things that you're passionate about.
And with that passion that obviously you have, I mean, you're not stopping at Miss Teen Ontario. You're going to try for that Canada title.
Yeah, Miss Teenage Canada.
It's happening in July?
Yeah, Toronto.
Right.
In July.
So what do you have to do to prep for that?
Well, it's a lot more fundraising, because there's the entry fee, of course, and then there's the charity fundraising that we're required to do. We're all required to raise a certain amount of money for the children, which is the pageant's official charity. But I'm hoping to raise more than that, so I'll be holding a few events around the community for that. And then there's also seeking sponsorship. So that's one of the things that I'm doing right now. I'm seeking sponsorship from businesses around the community and in the surrounding areas, which is a big part of it.
So how can anybody listening right now that might want to help towards that, how can they help you?
Liking my page on Facebook would be a really good start.
Do it. You heard it.
It's Miss Teenage Ontario 2018, and following my social medias. And once it gets closer to the actual pageant, there will be voting opening up online. So I'll be linking all of that on my Facebook page with the instructions on how to do that, and that'll be a really big help as well.
What kind of questions do they ask you on the judge panel?
Well, we have an interview at Provincials, and usually they just ask you like things about yourself, because you submit a biography and they read that and they ask you questions from that. So I put where I was from, and they asked me questions about Six Nations, what it was like growing up here, things like that. And they don't really ask you anything. They don't want to have any trick questions or anything like that. Like, it's just supposed to be getting to know you and seeing if you're well-spoken, well-rounded, if you're a good communicator, because that's a really big part of it. Like, their winners need to be able to communicate with a wide variety of people.
So you mentioned that, so you're from Six Nations, but you're originally from Edmonton?
I was born there, but I only lived there for 2 years, so I don't really have any memories of it.
Do you know any of the languages?
Unfortunately, no. I am from Temagami, though, Temagami First Nation.
Okay.
And I do know a little bit of Ojibwe, not a lot, but I'm trying to get more into it.
What do you know in Ojibwe? I was wondering if you could teach me maybe a word or two.
Oh my goodness. I can't even think of anything off the top of my head.
Don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm trying to learn. I've learned a little bit of Mohawk. I've got Cayuga down with the hello, Scano. That's what I know. And then I knew a word in Creed. I'm going to have to think about it now, though. I'm like you. I'm just put on the spot and I completely blur it out. What other info can we give to anybody listening right now to follow your social media pages?
Well, yeah, liking my Facebook page and any of the social medias. I have a Twitter, Miss Teen ONT 18. And then I also have my Instagram at Miss Teenage Ontario. And just following those and keeping updated. And if there's any events around the community, I'm totally welcome to doing anything and helping out with whatever I can. So,
all right, awesome. Aleria Mckay, thanks for hanging out with us here at Jukasa Radio.
Thank you for having me.